Welcome to The Lesson Plan, the podcast where we dive deep into academics and instruction in DPS. I'm your host, Communications and Community Engagement Manager Nicole Brady, and my guest today is Nestor Bravo, the principal of Abraham Lincoln High School. We all know it as Lincoln, of course. It's been a staple of the Southwest Denver community for almost 70 years. A lot of history there, Nestor, and we're excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We know in recent years, the future of Lincoln was a little less certain, and that's why we wanted to bring you in to talk about getting Lincoln back on track. And we'll talk about what you did in the classroom, what you did with school culture. But to kick us off here, Nestor, would you just give us a little background on yourself? I know it's your second year as principal, but you actually started your career at Lincoln High School.
Yeah, it's very interesting story. I came to the U.S. in 2008. And I got my master's degree. And then when I got my first job in the United States was in Denver Public School, in this high school called Abraham Lincoln High School. I got my master's degree in Spanish literature. And when I was looking for jobs, I found the opportunity to teach AP Spanish language and AP Spanish literature. And it was in Lincoln High School in 2010. So that was 16 years ago when I started as a teacher.
I'm curious, were the demographics of Lincoln similar at the time?
The main difference between then and now is the size of the school. Back in 2010, we had about 1,900 kids, almost 2,000 students. Now we are under 1,000. We have been since last year until now, we went from 900 to high sevens. So yeah, that's the main difference. But demographic-wise, it's been pretty similar.
Well, obviously, the demographics of so much of Denver have changed over the years, and in terms of declining enrollment, it's a battle that every school is facing. But one thing that we saw with Lincoln was with both declining enrollment and some of the issues it was having being on the state's accountability clock, it was at one point at risk of closing. But we want to talk about what you did to prevent that, to turn things around. Lincoln made some big news recently, moving from a red to yellow rating on the school performance framework. So everyone's aware here, red is the lowest color rating for a school in turnaround status. And then it's orange for priority improvement, yellow improvement, and then green is a performance plan. So Lincoln jumped 2 spots in a year. Can you explain to us just in simple terms, Nestor, what the state performance framework and the school performance framework is? What does it measure?
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, it measures, this performance framework is like a report card for a school. In simple terms, like the same way that students receive a report card for their performance academically, schools from the state perspective also receive a report card. And it measures, at the high school level, it measures 3 key elements. One is academic achievement, the other one is academic growth, and then the third part, it measures the other elements that are not necessarily related to the classroom, but it measures like post-secondary workforce, it measures students' dropouts, graduation rates, and so on and so on.
Had Lincoln not been able to move up, what could have happened? That's where we've seen in some school districts where the state comes in and intervenes. Is that right?
Yes. Well, and right now as we speak, the state is already having a form of intervention with Lincoln High School. And what it looks like now for Lincoln is that we have to meet with state representative once or twice per semester and just give an account of how we're progressing in our goals. So that's a form of intervention that we are right now. If we have not moved up or show significant changes in our performance, Lincoln would be different. I don't know exactly what it would look like because when the state directs actions for the school to be reimagined, then that is a partnership with the district and the state. So we principals and teachers and the community in general, we become more observant of the process because then it is the district who comes in and tell us what the next steps are. It could be reimagining the school from the ground up and the school remained as Lincoln High School, but something else in terms of its model. It could become a charter, it could become a middle school, but I don't know exactly what could have happened specifically. But I do know that Lincoln would have been a complete different school.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about how you and your team made some big changes in just a moment. But first, going off of what you just said, why was it important to preserve Lincoln as the comprehensive traditional high school that it is for the Southwest Denver community?
Yes, well, Lincoln High School is a big hub for the Southwest community. For all the 60 years that Lincoln has been open, the sense of belonging that our Latino, Chicano community, the minorities, the Vietnamese community, the minorities that live in the Southwest have always looked at Lincoln as a hub for opportunity, for belonging. So we have a significant number of alumni, people who graduated and became very successful after their high school life, who look forward to supporting Lincoln to continue to see it thrive. In addition to that, we are one of the few comprehensive high schools in the Southwest. So the opportunities we offer kids as a holistic high school experience is very, very special and very unique. So having students come to Lincoln High School means that they can take college level classes, they can take some of our career and academies pathways. They can also play sports. They can belong to specific clubs after school. So the experience for a high school student at Lincoln is so rich that it's is beyond anything we can imagine if we don't belong to the Southwest community.
Absolutely, well said. So let's get into the work itself, starting with what was happening in the classroom with instruction. What changes did you implement?
Yes, I every time I talk about the changes that took place at Lincoln, I always remember Leo Tolstoy's quote. He says, "The strong are always simple." And that's kind of what I base my leadership on, among many other things. But when I started at Lincoln, I saw a very rich variety of systems and ideas put in place that I quickly realized that were a little bit distracting. So I after reflecting on what was going on at Lincoln quickly, because I didn't have obviously much time, I just realized that we needed to simplify systems to align the vision and just define that the main priority is what is happening in the classroom. Whatever experience we provide our kids within their classrooms has to be the driver of all the decisions that we make outside of the classroom. So aligning leadership from the principal to assistant principals, deans, senior team leads, team specialists, aligning all that leadership from with the vision of high quality instruction in the classroom. And then everybody behaves in function of that vision. That was the first most critical change that I have to do really, really quick.
So you had teachers kind of moved around a little bit, even things like that. You said, did you hire new, move people around, things like that?
I did. I had to. We had one of the challenges at Lincoln High School when I started was a $1.3 million budget deficit. And I had to quickly solve for that. And that was very, very critical because dozens of people had to be reduced. And but that also serves as an opportunity because I am taking on the new leadership, the responsibility to moving the school forward. And that crisis of budget allowed me to rethink with simplicity, who do we really need to have here and what is their impact? So that crisis allowed me to rethink and shrink my leadership team. We went from 4 APs to 3 APs. I have 4 deans. I reduced them all. So it became a very smaller team, but everybody who remained was immediately aligned with the vision.
Wow, much more streamlined. And then tell me about some of the resources you were able to bring in for preparing students for these tests that they have to take, like the PSAT or the CMAS tests. You even had a chatbot on Khan Academy you were telling me about that was helpful to students. Tell us about some of those resources.
Yes, well, obviously, it's not only the knowledge you have when you take the test to show that you're proficient, it's also your ability to be successful in the test, utilizing the tools the test provides you. So there is like a conceptual level of proficiency that kids have to have. Like I need to know math at grade level, or need to know how to read and write, or analyze a paragraph at grade level, which is a conceptual piece of your knowledge. But then there is a technical side of your knowledge, which is I am in front of this computer taking this test that is timed, that has tools and resources. Yes. So if you know the content and then you're proficient using the tool, it is likely that you will do well. What I had to do really quick at Lincoln was think about what tool can I offer the kids so they, with the knowledge they have, now they can apply that knowledge in a tool that is very similar to what they will use during the test. So Khan Academy provided that tool. Yes, the context of Khan Academy allowed kids to practice on a regular basis. So we developed from the beginning of the year a PSAT plan. So every week, multiple days a week, our students will sit in classrooms in their Lancer family classes. We call them Lancer family. It's a form of advisement class. And their teacher in that class will support students with logging into the platform and taking care of what they needed to take care technically so they become proficient. Within one of those strategies, we had Conmigo, which is a AI assistant that supports students with Spanish. And Lincoln High School has almost 80% Hispanic population. So that tool is very, very useful for the kids, among many other things. But that was one of the things that we did technically to support our kids. And that really helped moving us from the red to the yellow academic growth portion of the SPF.
How were you able to move the needle to the yellow?
Yeah, well, so we knew that our academic performance, our academic achievement and academic growth was going to be the main bucket of success for the school. We didn't know by how much. We knew that our students were going to show growth, but we were nervous about, moving from red to yellow, it's significant. So when the results came out, we saw that we moved to yellow on the academic growth, but overall we needed to find other spaces in the framework for us to have an overall rating of yellow. So we started looking at the other components of the framework, and our district was very, very helpful too. We have people at the district level who support us with looking at what are the other pieces of the framework. So in that process, we realized that the post-secondary workforce readiness, the students matriculating in post-secondary opportunities was going to be the closest area where we could move to yellow as well. So we started looking. The CDE gave us the list of students who were counting positively towards that area, and then DPS helped us find out specifically how many more students were needed for us to cross the orange to yellow. So we started calling people, our counselors, people from the Future Center, assistant principals, everybody who know where the kid went. We started just getting the phone number, reaching out to their friends on social media, because we knew that there were more kids benefiting from post-secondary opportunities that were not counted on the framework. So we did that. We did a request to reconsider through DPS, and then by December, we got the final approval and reassurance that we were yellow on the SPF.
Excellent. Yeah. Kids sometimes could be hard to keep track of, I imagine, after they leave the school. So, so it's interesting that that's part of the framework, that you have to kind of keep track of what they do after. But that's wonderful that you were able to find those kids again. And I know you'll say the work is not done yet. So we'll talk more about where you go from here in a moment. I also want to talk, though, about beyond just the numbers, creating a culture of success at Lincoln. This is something I've seen visible in the hallways, where you'll have the students who are seniors who have already been accepted to colleges with those colleges next to their pictures. We see the athletic Hall of Fame area in Lincoln where you celebrate past graduates and their successes. Why is it important to create that culture and celebrate achievement at Lincoln?
Yes, well, I believe that culture is everything. Culture is the foundation for everything you do. I have seen great strategists fail because they lack the ability, or they perhaps not focus on culture as much as they focus on other things. So when I walked into Lincoln, I quickly defined what culture is to me, and the community responded to it very well. I always talk about culture in two big buckets. I first say systems create culture. The clarity and the effectiveness of systems create a specific culture that then is evidence in behaviors. And then the other is people create culture. Who we are as humans and the way we interact with each other also is a form of creating culture. So when it comes to systems, I definitely wanted to make sure that whatever our admin team, whatever our leadership team created as a system was of the highest possible quality. And what I mean by that is, what is the quality of our professional development? What is the quality of our observation and feedback and coaching cycles? What is the quality of our PD and PLC calendars? When our leadership team meets, what is the structure of our conversations and what do we want to achieve? At the broader level, we look at systems around how do we execute our assessment strategy when it comes time to do access or CMAS or PSAT. Are we showing up with the highest possible quality of operations for our team. So when you create a system that is highly effective, is simple yet effective, it creates a culture of high performance. And I really thrive thinking through what are our systems going to look like at Lincoln High School. So they had to look different because we went through a budget reduction. So I have to realign my leaders to a specific function, and it worked out pretty well. The other part is the people side of culture, like the way we interact with each other as humans. And I always think that principals are the weather of their school, and the way we carry ourselves as principals. Obviously, we have a huge responsibility to run a building, but there's also a symbolic side of who we are and how we come across to people. And our sincere belief in human development, and to me, the pleasure that it is to see people grow, I try to make it obvious. So when my staff sees me and my team, they see that we not only have really high expectations for performance, but we're humans. We're working together. So celebrating student achievement, celebrating staff achievement is the place where both things come to place. Like the operations, the excellence, the systemic side of the culture, and then the human side of the culture. When we celebrate our outstanding athletes, when we celebrate our amazing academic performance, it's a moment of pride for all of us. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, though, that you start with the culture around the system and supporting those educators and expecting a lot of those educators. And that's amazing at what you just said about your expectations of your teachers at Lincoln. So how much district support did Lincoln receive as it implemented these changes?
Well, you know that in terms of money and material resources, the district is typically very limited. So obviously it was an effort of support beyond money. So when it came to me starting at Lincoln last year, I received a lot of human resources in terms of support. So my academic partners, we have Lindsay Coleman, an amazing math partner for us. And then we had Melissa Boyd as my collaborative director. Now we have Don Reynolds. But beyond that, we engage in this process called data mine that I hope everybody listening to this is aware of. But in that process, at the end of every data mine, we are asked, what do you need? What is your ask? And through that process, it has been incredibly timely and effective the way that I receive support. Some of the things that I have received support for the last couple of years have been in terms of best ways to internalize units, best ways to understand our assessment platforms, like all the technical pieces that make our teachers' life better and our leaders' life better in terms of having the competence to internalize a unit based on a new curriculum. But I have asked for support in many other ways. We are a shared campus. The building has 3 different schools in it, and the dynamics of it can become dysfunctionally quickly if you don't have effective leadership on it. So this year we have Scott Wolf supporting with this work, and is really, really impressive to see how responsive, timely he is with the things that we need to troubleshoot. And there's a lot of people, Corey Canty, Sam Haviland, Scott Burke, all the people in the central office that whenever we need an answer for any question, whether it is about operations or data, we always get that info. So what I'm learning is that DPS is definitely invested in making Lincoln succeed. And the strategy in leadership is to know what to ask, understanding that resources are limited. So it's definitely been a team effort. I sense, and my team as well, that this has been a team effort. Obviously, we are at Lincoln every day, putting in the work, adjusting, bringing accountability, celebrating, but the district is always there to give us a hand.
I am glad to hear that because you're right. It goes beyond the work happening there every day. There are some bigger picture things happening. I know that it's a lot of pressure, of course, to lead a district that is trying to get on track to turn things around, and that also has a spotlight on it from the community or from the school district. How do you manage that? And how does that sort of impact how you plan the next year, the next 2 or 3 years in this process?
It is a huge responsibility. That's how I take it every day. It's really, really the pressure of producing an outcome immediately because we don't have time, it really overwhelms. So it takes a lot of, I have been a school leader for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I was a principal of my previous school for 6 years. So coming to Lincoln, I obviously had a degree of success and experience, but Lincoln is a very unique challenge. And despite of all the good learning that I had in my previous leadership, I have to unlearn certain things and relearn others, especially managing a school with that critical of needs. But one of the ways that I have learned about myself as a leader, but also the people that work with me in my team, is that if we have a clear vision, again, that is simple, that is achievable, it makes the work shared. The responsibility becomes shared. And the idea of collective efficacy is something that we really lean into. We have a motto at Lincoln High School that goes, being good alone is not enough. And that just addresses the idea of every school has pockets of excellence. If you go to any school in DPS, you will have that classroom or those classrooms where the principal is really proud to show the community. And what I am trying to do right now at Lincoln, feeling this huge sense of responsibility, is to turn those pockets of excellence into the way we are as Lancers. So we, with collective efficacy, share the pressure and share the responsibility. I also see that when teachers and other leaders see clarity on the vision, and they can measure success along the way, it creates like a positive feedback loop of we will repeat the behaviors that are working so we can achieve same results if they're positive. So yeah, it's very difficult. We celebrate the successes, but we also know that there is plenty of work to do.
As a principal, do you come into a school with a specific 3-year or 5-year plan? I mean, we know that effective, successful principals often move around. So what is your plan for the next short, near-term future for Lincoln?
Yeah, well, so when I started at Lincoln, I knew that I only had a year to make a noticeable, measurable result, to produce a noticeable, measurable, positive result. So when I started, I was on a 184-day clock for myself. We have this semester, next semester, we have to readjust. And so that was my immediate goal. I was like, whatever we do this year as a team, we have to make sure that we show the community that we did the right thing in terms of systems, in terms of people.
Yep.
From there, my short-term goal for this year and next is to replicate the things that we did well so the success continued to be sustainable. If the success is sustainable over time, then we can have a foundation to dream a little bit further. We got off the red last year, we're yellow, but we need at least 2 years of yellow to be completely off the clock. So my immediate goal right now is to make sure that whatever happens between now and April 14th goes deeper into the things that we're doing well. From there, we are on an innovation plan, and the innovation plan is up for revision pretty soon. And I'm really looking forward to engaging the community, teachers, and all of us into what Lincoln High School is going to look like from the foundation of that innovation plan. So I am looking forward to see how can we dream of a new enhanced Lincoln community for the Southwest. So, yeah.
It's exciting for the community to watch. I hope they pay close attention to the changes and the exciting things happening there. I want to take a moment to celebrate a few cool things out of Lincoln. Just of late, I happened to be there on this last week. One of your students and the whole garden club has won a Climate Champions grant from the city of Denver and the DPS Sustainability Department. I know you already know this, so congratulations to them. But they took me up to the rooftop greenhouse, which is what some of the grant will go toward renovating. But that's something that's really just entirely student-led, it sounds like.
It is. It is. And students are, that specific club of students, they're very environmentally minded. And not only, they go beyond the greenhouse that you observe. We have also small gardens around the school, and they're very committed to that work. I really love just seeing how they learned other things about life that are very practical that they don't get to learn in the classroom. We have other things to celebrate too. We have 2 year in a row state wrestling champion, Jordan Romero. He won his second year. his second
Wow.
state championship title a couple of weeks ago. Our boys baseball team were city league champions last year. Our girls soccer team as well. Our archery team from the JROTC is like a state champion, 10th in the nation. There's so many cool things to celebrate. So.
Well, and it shows why it's so important to preserve these opportunities for students that only a comprehensive high school like Lincoln can provide. I mentioned the posters for Shrek the Musical in April that the school's performing. My daughter was in a middle school version of that, so I'm actually really excited to see a little higher scale version
Yes.
of this coming up in April. But yeah, you get to do arts, ROTC, JROTC, I should say, sports, environmental activism, social activism, all of that can be found at Lincoln.
All of it. We have, obviously, as well as Student Council. We have a Black Student Alliance, Latino Honor Society as well. And I was going to say something else about the Shrek the Musical. So what's really cool about that, not only that it is Shrek the Musical, but our drama director, Dania Firestone, she's partnering with other schools in the Southwest, and she's having elementary kids perform in the actual musical alongside the high schoolers. And to me, that's exactly what the Southwest should be doing in terms of getting the community together. We have kids from CMS Community School coming performing there as well. And we do that with a wrestling team. We have a juniors program in the wrestling team where kids from kindergarten come to wrestle in our high school mats. And we have our state champion like Jordan Romero and all those seniors who are really cool, very skilled wrestlers, teaching the little ones how to do specific wrestling movements. So it's really, really amazing just to think about Lincoln as a community hub manifested on those specific partnerships that it really makes me proud. Our cheerleader coach also has elementary age girls coming to the cheer team. And that is something that I really cherish. And I hope, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that as we move forward.
Well, I know it's important to foster that pride among the community and among those younger students in those earlier schools. So bringing them there. I mean, I remember going to the high school when I was a little kid. I mean, that seems exciting. You look up to those students, and then someday you want to be a Lincoln Lancer. So.
Yes.
Well, Nestor Bravo, thank you so much for coming on to share the progress, the successes, the challenges, and what's next for Lincoln. We'll be paying close attention.
Yes, thank you so much.
And please remember to reach out anytime if you have any ideas for this podcast. You can always contact me, Nicole Brady, on the communications team. Thank you so much to our listeners, and we hope you'll join us next time for The Lesson Plan.